Welcome to a special Talk of the Town weekly show. Every Monday afternoon recaps of all the NFL games from Sunday prior. My name is Jalen Diaz. This is my host, Peyton Warnock. We'll be taking care of y'all today. We'll be going in the timeline order of the games from 1, 4, and then Sunday Night Football. But check the description for the chapters if you're looking to hear us talk about a specific game. Like the damn video, subscribe, ring the bell, keep up with all the Talk of the Town shows and segments, and even my boys, he's out here streaming. He's doing his thing. So thank you for tuning in with us today, and we're going to start this off hot. Can you tell me what happened to Joe Burrow yesterday?
I think I can, but I got a follow-up question before I answer that. What happened to everybody in that game? Before I get into Joe Burrow, Steelers defense, I got to give them all the credit because they're ridiculous. No, especially TJ, and it's going to suck that he's out for however long he's out. Defense is great, but I mean, bad reads, bad decisions, and just bad passes from Joe Shiesty. Yeah, I don't know what else. Like, he's putting the ball on the ground, too. He fumbled twice, threw 4 picks. Yep. I get that you can't really anticipate TJ's going to snatch it out of the air, but it's a low throw as it is. He's just, a lot of bad balls. He's trying to force the ball in, and it's not working very well. So I'll say that, 5 turnovers is unacceptable in any game, anytime, whatever. But this is week 1. This is versus a division rival. And it was after a run in the playoffs last year where many considered it fortunate. So now you got to come out and you got to prove we weren't playing around. We're actually this good. This wasn't, I know all the games were decided by a field goal, but that wasn't luck. We got there for a reason. That's what they're supposed to be doing this year. And Joe Burrow comes out and he drops 5 turnovers in week 1. It's not a good look. It's really not a good look.
You give a team 5 more chances to score points on the board. What do you expect? There's nothing else you're going to get out of that besides a loss. And they're lucky enough that they got to where they got to and went into the end zone and scored and got 3 plays back to back in the red zone. And luckily, Chase, so he ended up scoring for them.
Bro, every time I tuned into that game since he had the ball, I don't get it. He turned it over 5 times and still they had the ball all the time. The Steelers offense was just not enough. The defense did that much to win the game. And I still don't even think Pittsburgh deserved to win it. They were throwing that game away. They couldn't move the ball. Just by this game alone, I think the division gets a little bit more interesting. Even though Watt is going to be out. That does put it in jeopardy a little bit, but their defense is that good. I think without Watt, they're going to fall off a little bit, but you're taking the ball away 5 times from Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is not some bum. You know what I'm saying? Joe Burrow is a elite quarterback. I will say, I don't think either team even deserved to win that game. They both tried to give it away so much that I would have been happy if it ended in a tie.
Payne just said he would rather have it ended in a tie, so this is a great transition into my next question.
That was really good, Jalen. That was really good, and I'm almost upset at how good it was.
Is a new fucking QB really what will push the Colts to the Super Bowl? Loaded Colts roster ties with the fucking Houston Texans, which literally gave you guys a game multiple times.
It's still possible that a plug-in quarterback will take the Colts to the Super Bowl. I still think it's possible. Because Matt Ryan didn't play that bad. However, I think it's more of a coaching problem at this point. Yesterday, it was a game you can't lose. And they didn't. But you tied against Houston, who should be 2 free wins in your division if you're going to be a playoff team.
Automatic. So like you said, it's the coaching. That was my biggest takeaway. Once he made that decision to go at 4th and 1 in the red zone instead of kicking that goal and at least just putting something on the board and then they down and scored. Yeah. I was like, this game.
Now hold on there, Jay. Hold on there, Jay. Not only was it the red zone, it was 4th and goal from the 2-yard line, and they ran a wildcat. Wildcat from the 2-yard line. You got Matt Ryan. You bring in a new quarterback that's supposed to lead you to the Super Bowl. You've got the best running back in the league, and you use neither of them. I do want to point to one other thing about this game. There were many, questionable calls by Frank Reich. But that play we're referring to right here, the Colts were winning 3-0. Kicked a field goal, you go up 6-0, get points on the board. Instead, they got nothing. So that ended up staying 3-0. Ended up 20-3, and then once it was 20-3, the Colts were down. It became first and goal from like the 9, and they didn't run one time. They threw the ball, kick a field goal. I don't claim to know anything about X's and O's when it comes to football, but that's Jonathan Taylor, right? Like, you got to think, you're at the 9-yard line. You got to give it to him, no?
And then Blankenship, he missed it.
Yeah, that was my final note. It was all my complaints about the game, and then right here it says, however, make the fucking kick.
You guys expect to go long? Those things that you guys got exposed for that ended up in resulting in the tie, I think it needed to happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, if this coach situation doesn't change, if this coaching doesn't decides to fix up their play calling by mid-season, and you guys are still not over 500, then obviously the organization would have to probably take a step back and be like, this guy's not cutting this job right now. Moving on to San Fran and the Chicago Bears. Who had the more notable game, Fields or Lance? You know,
I've been waiting for this one.
Me personally, from my standpoint, they both had a good game. Trey Lance, you know, like I said, I'm still wishy-washy. A lot of people think that he's not the guy for it. They should have kept Jimmy G. But like I said, you got to give these young dudes the benefit of the doubt. I'd love to hear your take because, you know, the quarterback situation, Mr. GM over here.
Here's what I'll say. Here's how I'll answer your question. I say neither because they both look like ass. But no. Listen, seriously.
I hear you. I'm hearing you.
I will cut him a little bit of slack because the weather was awful. So I'll let him slide for this one. Sometimes I feel like Trey Lance has his eyes closed, but I do want to give credit to Fields. Although the numbers don't look good, I think there was plenty of times where he made a bad decision. 19-point swing. You know, they had 0. And he ended up scoring 19 in the second half to win the game. And that's, you know, you got to have the one in the W column. And he does. So I will give credit to Justin Fields. So I think throughout the game, he did not look great. I'm still unsure about these two. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see that the Bears maybe can have some improvement this year. They've been stuck in purgatory for the last however many years. You know, they have good rosters, but now they don't, and they're moving on to Fields, who could be the new franchise guy. They have a new coach, and they did start off 1-0. So, I mean, fair play to Chicago. You know, at some point, we got to see something out of Trey Lance, and I'm wondering how many weeks until he shows up, or if he doesn't, what point does Jimmy Garoppolo make an appearance?
I would say if he doesn't figure it out by week 4, I think they'll make a switch from him to Jimmy Garoppolo, because it's like, every franchise wants to win a Super Bowl. The main objective is to win a Super Bowl. 100%. And you're gonna do what you have to do. And it's like, if you got to put this guy in who's been to Super Bowl, but his foot when the time to shine was, you know, come upon him, then so be it. You got a better chance doing that than to a rookie.
The thing is, I didn't play football, so I never experienced those pads on. But those pads add weight. You know what I'm saying? They could be as light as possible. They're still gonna add some weight. And now your entire jersey, shorts, they're all soaked in water. Now you're even heavier. So you got all these elusive guys. They're not as elusive anymore.
It was boring.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
That's not good. I would not be happy if I was either of those quarterbacks right now. Like, my first game of the season, coming into my second year, and this is what's happening right now.
If there's a 1-3, 0-4, Jimmy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jim.
Call him. Yeah. I'll
get your ass back in here. I'm holding a lot of judgment because of the awful weather, but they did not show me much.
We're gonna talk about one of my favorite games actually to watch. Were we wrong about Tua and the Dolphins? Is it more so the Dolphins defense that saved them from getting beat, or was it just a fairly played game from both sides of the ball and from the Dolphins? You know,
I think it was just that. I think both sides played that good. And, you know, to answer the question, Tua did play a really good game, but maybe we were wrong about Belichick, not Tua. Maybe Mac Jones running the same system as Tom Brady and not succeeding the same points to the coach that we all thought was far and away the best to ever do it. And as much as I don't like seeing Tom Brady continue to win over time, beat my team over and over and over, that man is the greatest to ever play. So maybe we do have to point to the coach and say, were you a product of Tom Brady instead of was Tom Brady a product of Bill Belichick? Going back to your question, he did execute pretty well. You look at the numbers, 23 for 33, 270 and a touchdown, no picks. I think it's very important for him to take care of the ball. He had a couple passes that I'm like, oh, maybe that was dumb, but he's also thrown it to Tyreek Hill, who probably can make that catch.
Yesterday, what I've seen from the Dolphins, I liked it. The way they were moving the ball, like you said, 23 for 33, 270 yards, 1 touchdowns. The rush game wasn't anything crazy. Tyreek Hill only had 8 receptions, 94 yards. What we've seen yesterday is the potential of a really good team if they continue to play great on both sides of the ball. I feel like he didn't have a really good, year last year when it came to turn the ball. So I'm like you said, it's a good thing to see him not turn the ball over. That is like the number one thing, obviously, as a quarterback.
He doesn't have the arm, and he knows that, and he plays to his strengths. He'll launch one if he needs to, if Tyreek's open downfield, but he's not going to take unnecessary risks. And if he continues to play smart, I think Miami's gonna make some noise, maybe more noise than we expected. But to say that we were wrong about Tua, I don't know if we really were, because did we really say that he was bad and that he couldn't lead them? We didn't say that. We just said he was questionable, and if he makes improvements with the roster, they're going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, exactly. Make or break was the term that we used. We didn't say he was going to do one or the other. We weren't sure about him, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction of going to the playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't think they have any chance of taking out the Bills to win the division, but a playoff spot's a playoff spot, and that's a good start to be a division rival.
But it's just going back to, is this system the system that everybody's been saying is the system because of Bill Belichick, or it's a pretty big question. It's a pretty big deal because, like, bro, for years from the time he left till today, it's still questioning. Was Tom Brady the reason why Bill Belichick was so great, or was Bill Belichick so great? And so far, Tom Brady has proven point to where he's like, I don't need you. I just pledge allegiance to Lamar Jackson. Declined $298 million for 6 years with $133 million guaranteed. And I feel like he still, I just feel like he still has a chip on his shoulder, which makes my mind boggle. Because, like, yesterday was another performance. How much is he worth? Because, like, how much can Lamar do for the Ravens and the team as a whole? What is that worth? Like, continuously just absolutely just balling out repeatedly after repeatedly.
Yeah. I don't know how much Lamar can do for the Ravens because, once again, he needs to do everything. And I just don't know if that's sustainable for one quarterback. Like, you look at this, he has to do everything until Dobbins is back at 100% because he's not ready yet.
Yeah.
When Dobbins comes back, maybe it'll be a different story. But they brought in Kenyon Drake, and it's just back to the same old. 11 carries for 31 yards. Like, they just can't break a run. They can't move the chains, man. Like, the Jets had so many more plays than them. They can't run the ball. They're not moving the chains. Lamar throws one incompletion, and your drive is pretty much over. They had 2.8 yards per carry from Lamar and Kenyon Drake. And, that's Lamar's fault as well for not being able to break free. But that's just not enough out of your running back to give 11 carries for 31 yards. I do want to point that I think Lamar looked improved in one specific aspect that I think he really needed to improve on, and that's once he's gone through his progressions and he's ready to run, he's dropped back however many steps and he starts to scramble out, ready to cross the line of scrimmage. He's still looking downfield at a receiver. He's not looking at the closest defender to how to make them miss. And I think you saw that on two of the 3 touchdown passes yesterday, 2 of the deep balls. He evaded the pressure, he moved forward, and he's looking downfield for the receiver because that's when the play's broken. Your receiver has a good chance of getting open, especially getting behind somebody. I think that was the one thing that he really needed to improve on because you see guys like Mahomes, Allen, even Rodgers. They do run, but when the play gets broken, they're still looking downfield and they'll run when they have to. Obviously, Lamar is a much better rusher than them, so we expect Lamar to run more. But looking downfield, it resulted in 2 touchdowns yesterday, and I think that's going to help him a lot throughout the year. It wasn't a spectacular game by Lamar by any means. And I think that they were lucky to play the Jets because that performance is not going to be enough to win that division.
The Russian side aspect of the game, they need to figure this out.
This time it was the Jets, and they're lucky it was the Jets because next week it's Miami. It's not going to be the same story. But Lamar running six carries for 17 yards, and as long as 8, that means he's getting nowhere the other rushes. So that's not going to cut it. Kenyon Drake needs to start running better, or it's going to be all on Lamar again. They do need to improve. I don't expect Lamar to go for 2.8 yards a carry again, but it's a good matchup next week with Miami, and that'll tell us more of what we need to know about the Ravens and the Dolphins.
Are we sticking with the Falcons going 1-16 and the Saints 10-7?
Yes, Jalen. Yes, I am sticking with my picks. I am 100% sticking with my picks. The Falcons will never, ever, ever, ever stop choking in my lifetime. It's just what they do. There's no changing the Falcons. It's who they are. It's in their identity.
My biggest takeaway from that game, I'm not gonna lie, as much as we are clowning this franchise because they have been like the epitome of football for the past couple of years, just absolutely just not finishing football games ever. But Marcus Mariota looked kind of comfortable yesterday. I'm not gonna lie to you. Granted, he didn't, no touchdown passes. He went 20 for 33, 215 yards. I'm not mad considering he's been a back burner for a couple years and he's probably been counted out multiple times.
New Orleans has a dangerous offense, and I trust Jameis, and I love Jameis Winston. But they have a really dangerous offense. They got a lot of weapons. Kamara didn't even have a great game. Taysom Hill was the guy that was doing the damage carrying the football. But
running, 4 carries, 81 yards.
Here's what I do want to point out. When it got down to crunch time, that's cool. Mariota, he had good numbers and he didn't turn the ball over. But when it got down to it, it was 26-10. Here's what the Falcons did: 6 plays, 20 yards for one drive, punt. 7 plays, 28 yards, punt. And here's what Winston did: he marched his ass down the field, lighting it up, and he scored 3 times in a row and won the damn football game. Jameis Winston is back, ladies and gentlemen. 2 touchdowns, no picks, 270 yards. Jameis Winston is back. Now that he's got Thomas in there as well, he's gonna be very, very dangerous. And I'm sticking with 10-7 for my Saints pick.
All right, this is actually this is something that I was really eager to talk about. Will Carson Wentz have a redemption year? Coming from the Colts fan who just had him last year, and me personally, I wish he still was on the Colts, but I don't think the organization likes the type of player he is. But will he have a redemption year? Tell me your thoughts on that.
No, he won't. Respectfully, though. Because here's why, though. He is still the same guy. But here's why he won't have a redemption year. Did he even have a bad year last year? You look at the numbers. No, it looks fine to me. And what were we, 9-8? You can't tell me that's a bad year. Let's check out the numbers from last year. Let's check it out. 62% and 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's not bad, right? But you got to win us a football game when it comes down to it, Carson, and he couldn't. So the stats will look fine this year, just like last year. But when it comes down to it, the Commanders aren't going to be in the playoffs because he can't win a game when he needs to. Granted, he got that one. Right, I'll give you that one.
I mean, granted, he played solid defense yesterday.
Yeah.
And he won in the clutch time.
The game wouldn't have been close if he didn't turn the ball over twice back to back. You know what I'm saying?
That is also true.
That's Carson Wentz football right there. That is Carson Wentz football. He did pull it out. I'll give him credit. But to call it redemption year is a little much, considering it was the Jaguars, who we both think are going to stink. I don't see the anime redemption arc for Carson Wentz.
No, I don't see a redemption year. I see a year where it's like not make or break or anything like that. It's just, 27 for 41, 310 yards. Like I said, you gotta get 4 touchdowons. You need to see 2 interceptions from Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Redemption year, like you said, that's a word where I don't think it's a thing because, like you said, he didn't have like a crazy bad year last year. He put up decent numbers. He just couldn't win football games.
It wasn't good enough for what
you need to win football games in order to keep the job. Yeah, exactly. Let's hope the Commanders don't go on a winning season and you guys don't go on a losing season, because if the Colts lose this season really bad and the Commanders decide to pull something out their ass, just know I'm coming for you.
Yo, I might hang it up. And listen, everybody watching, I might hang it up. Jay might need a new co-host. I swear to God.
Is Jalen Hurts going to lead Philly to an NFC East title?
Yeah. Dak Prescott's out 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, he is. I don't see the elite status. I don't see the winner yet in Jalen Hurts, but They're going to win the division this year, and I can say that confidently. You know, my Cowboys record prediction's out the window because of that injury, so it just completely opens it up for Philly. The offense looks pretty damn good. I can't lie. And Hurts did have a really good game. A.J. Brown is going to be huge for that team. 10 receptions, 155 yards for A.J. Brown. Having that clear number one guy is going to help Jalen Hurts on another level. Just to add on to the great offensive performance, the run game was unstoppable as well. Miles Sanders with 96 yards on 13 carries. Hurts with 90 yards on 17 carries. 4 rushing touchdowns. Scored. Yeah, 4 rushing touchdowns.
4. My theory right now is if they continue to progress and hopefully play team football, this might be something good for them. You know, like I said, I'm a big believer in Jalen Hurts. When you have a good mobile quarterback and he can throw the ball fairly well, 243 yards, 18 for 32, it's not the worst. It's not the best. Now that Dak Prescott decided to personally go home and rip his finger off, I do believe Philly might have a chance to take the NFC East title.
Yeah, I do want to transition to the other side of it and just say it was the Lions. And we know, we know the Lions. That's why, yeah. Yep. And yep. Here's my problem with Philly. Based off yesterday, Jalen Hurts is not going to be holding them back, but giving up 35 to the Lions is not acceptable. That 35 points to Jared Goff will not cut it. Who are you going to play when it comes playoff time? Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, maybe Kyler Murray, maybe Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, and you're giving up 35 to Jared Goff? That defense needs work because that is not going to cut it.
Big win for Cleveland yesterday. Jacoby Brissett, came in. He's got the little pressure on him. His starting quarterback serving 12-game suspension. Cleveland Browns, they have been the Cleveland Browns for the past semi years they've been established. Can they stay afloat without Deshaun playing? What is your biggest takeaway from that game yesterday?
I think they can. My biggest takeaway is something that we already knew, and it's that they can stay afloat because of that run game. Because Nick Chubb behind that line is ridiculous. Kareem Hunt was one of the best running backs in the NFL, and then he got suspended, and people forgot about him. And somehow they let Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb play in the same backfield. They can stay afloat because of that run game, but is it really going to be sustainable when you have to play the Ravens twice, Pittsburgh twice, Cincinnati twice? I don't think they win more than one game against those teams. Brissett is all right. He's doing what he needs to do. He's holding them up, but it's that run game that's going to do it. But when it comes down to it, you've got great coaches. They're going to game plan, and they're going to let Jacoby Brissett beat him. They're going to say, Jacoby, you have to do it. We're going to stack the box. We're not going to let you run. Jacoby Brissett is going to have to win the football game, and I don't think that's going to happen, especially against the division. So they can stay afloat when it comes to the run game, but I don't think they will because of the division. If they were in the AFC South, by God, they might as well win that shit. But they're in the AFC North, so it's not as easy.
Nah, I definitely hear you on that because, obviously you got 39 carries, 217 yards on the run game, but for the throwing the ball wise, Brissett was 18 for 34, 138 yards. He only averaged 4.3, yards per pass. So it's like he's throwing hitches or check downs and stuff like.
Yeah.
But like you said, overall, it's like, can that run game be sustainable for the next 11 games now? Yeah. So, but the thing is, though, they have a deep lineup. They can rotate. That is the best part. They can rotate that backfield, but they can't rotate that quarterback at the moment, and that's he's gonna be the deciding factor if they can win out these games while Deshaun is gone. What did we learn from the Chiefs Cardinals game? That was one of the games I actually didn't get to catch, so I would love to give you insight on it.
All right, I would love to give it. We didn't learn a damn thing. We didn't learn a damn thing from this game. We already knew that Patrick Mahomes was the best. Everybody knew that. If you watched our video, we both had him number one, and we were making jokes because it was like, wow, that's so obvious. Why did we even say it? 30 for 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, not sacked. It's just domination. Going to the other side of it real quick, you might not know it, Jay, and you watching might not know it, but I have known, so I didn't learn it because I've known, that Kyler's a little overrated. He did a good job. I will give him credit. He did a good job padding his stats in the fourth quarter to make it look better when they were losing by 30. You know, he got 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. In the first quarter, you got 1 touchdown. The Chiefs come out, they open with a touchdown. You go 3 and out. Chiefs come back with another touchdown, 14-0. You respond with a touchdown. Now we're back into it. Chiefs come back, touchdown again, and you go 3 and out once again. Right then and there, I could have told you that the game was over. You got no chance already. First quarter, you're already done.
Like he said, he got his 2 touchdowns in garbage time. Yeah. Like not crunch time. It was garbage time. 22 for 34, 193 yards. 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter, already getting your ass beat by 30. No rushing game. No one could seem to run the ball yesterday, which seems like kind of like the defeating factor right now. Yeah, the Chiefs just absolutely just shitted on them yesterday. There's nothing else to talk about. I'm not looking at these stats no more. I was trying to give. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to give the Cardinals the benefit of the doubt. I like the Cardinals. I'm a Kyler Murray fan. I just wish things were always played out differently. But it's just sometimes it's how the way the cookie crumbles, you know. Yeah. Nicolas Cage and the Cheeseheads. What do you have to say for yourself besides the fact that you decided to say Justin Jefferson is the best player in the league right now after getting your ass whooped like that? I'm not gonna get my ass whooped by a receiver single-handedly go on TV and say that he's the best player in sports right now. And granted, that's respectful. I give you that respect. Me? I just got my ass whooped. I lost my star receiver. People keep calling me Nicolas Cage. I can't get it done. I missed the regular season. They beat you guys. And they didn't just beat you guys. They spanked you in your ass. But baby powder too. But what's your takeaway from that game, man?
I will say Minnesota is a very talented team. My worry with them has been, can they put it together all at once? You know, Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's good. Dalvin Cook is a really good running back, one of the best. Justin Jefferson might just be the best player in the game right now. Might be the best. He probably is the best receiver. But the question was, can they put it together? Can the offense and the defense both coexist and have a great year together? My other side of this is that Rodgers looked bad. He's throwing checkdowns a lot. He had 195 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns, and the person he targeted the most was Dillon out of the backfield. So he's thrown to his running back the most. I do want to say, let's not overreact. Let's not assume that the Packers are done for because they lost on opening week last year, 38-3. And then they ended up being the 1 seed. So let's not go too crazy. Let's not clown Rodgers too much, even though I love to see him pouting on the sideline. I thought that was fantastic. I love seeing that. We'll see what happens. I'm not just going to jump ship and say the Vikings are going to win the division now because it's a long, long season. But watching what Justin Jefferson did yesterday was quite special. I can't say.
I made an announcement yesterday that I'm declaring myself as a Raiders fan. And, it wasn't the best game for us yesterday. Derek Carr had a couple bad interceptions, but it is what it is. I still got love for the Cowboys. But, the question that I want to ask Peyton, can Justin Herbert and the Chargers break through now?
I think it is very, very possible that Herbert goes from never making the playoffs to the Super Bowl in 1 year. He is a star. He is an elite quarterback, one of the best. 26 for 34, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, not sacked. And some of these throws were just mind-blowing to me. But another thing that is quite notable for me is that Austin Eckler did not have a good game. 14 carries for 36 yards, and they still managed to win. Not comfortably, but they managed to have a chokehold on this game throughout. The defense was stifling for the Chargers. They were in Carr's face a lot. He was sacked 5 times. He put the ball on the ground twice, and he got picked 3 times. Shout out to Khalil Mack, by the way, before I go any farther. The newest addition and the biggest addition for the Chargers with 3 sacks. Chargers are starting to put it together, and it is very, very scary if I am any other team in the league, but specifically the AFC West, because I do not want to play Justin Herbert. I do not want to play that defense. I do not want to play Austin Eckler, because now is the time where they put it together and they make a run. So a message to the NFL.
I think they should make a run.
My message to the NFL watch out. They're going to be hosting every game at SoFi Stadium once again.
SoFi!
You know what I'm saying.
I'm going to be real, dude. I love Justin Herbert. Like, when he was in college, dude, I was like, dude, this kid is a fucking stud, ball player. Like, been a ball player the past few years, but obviously, you know, it doesn't always happen the way you want it to happen. 279 yards, 26 for 34, like you said, 3 touchdowns, no sacks, bro. No sacks. That means he was sitting in that pocket. And mind you, this dude has a rocket.
Yeah.
Absolute rocket in his arm. He spread that wealth. Like, there's 3 receivers that have over 50 yards. But overall, my takeaway from this is I believe this would be the year that they actually make some noise and they're like, hey, guys, we're officially here. Like, we're putting our feet down.
We know this division is going to be ridiculous. I did pick the Raiders to win via tie with the Chiefs, but owning the tiebreaker. And I'm you know, if the Chargers are gonna look like that, I might be a little concerned for my pick. But I can't say I'm mad at the Chargers winning football games because I love watching Justin Herbert. I hope I get to watch Justin Herbert in February.
Can Coach Brian Daboll turn around the Giants?
This year, no. Over time, absolutely. Right now, they just don't have the full roster of talent that they need to be a contender. The good culture is great, and I could tell that the culture is already shifting with him as the head coach, but like I said, you still need a franchise quarterback. You still need to be healthy. You still need more talent around this head coach putting in this new system, this new culture. I appreciate the gutsy play call going for 2 to win the game. You know, that builds culture as it is. But if we're being completely honest, it's still a lucky win, and that's no shade. You know, Saquon was dead to rights behind the line, and he broke free. You know, respect to him because that was a hell of a play, and you gave him the lead. They still let Tennessee go down the field, and they missed a field goal. New York got 2 very fortunate plays to win that game. It's a hell of a start, but right now, no, the Giants are not going to be turned around just like that. I think it would almost be better for the Giants to not have a good year this year. Maybe they could snag up one of these quarterbacks. I don't see them being the top 2 pick against Stroud or kid from Alabama. Can't remember his first name, but Young. I don't think they're going to be able to get. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to be top 2 to get one of those 2 guys. I think those are reserved for Seattle and Atlanta, but maybe a little farther down in the first round, they can get their franchise guy because, you know, respect to Daniel Jones, but he's not the guy.
Truthfully, they only won that game yesterday because Saquon plays his ass off. 18 carries, 160 yards, and a touchdown.
Game.
They had more rushing yards and passing yards.
Shout out to the Giants because if the Titans won, the Colts wouldn't be tied for first place in the division. So shout out to the Giants. Colts Nation. Tied for first. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna ask you this question because you've been opening us up with all these games. So Jay, how worried should these Cowboys fans be?
I'm glad you said these because I no longer associate myself. They should just honestly hang up their shit and just not watch football for the rest of the season. I'm gonna be completely honest because honestly, once he comes back, I don't think they're gonna do a goddamn thing. And last year it was dope because it was the shootout. They were going crazy back and forth. You only put up 3 points, and then now you're out with a hand injury for several weeks. They got to trade for a quarterback. They need to do something. I don't know who the backup quarterback is for the Cowboys.
Cooper Rush is your backup quarterback. Yep.
Cooper Rush.
Yep.
It hurts. It really does hurt, and I feel so bad for him because it's like, dude, you know, the man probably just wants to play football. Maybe they trade for a quarterback. Maybe Trey Lance gets it done, and then boom, next thing you know, they decide to say, Jimmy Garoppolo, come over here. You know, and by week 3, you know, we don't know. There's so many options, so many things that we can, you know, so many things that they can do.
Yeah.
But overall, they should be worried.
It's a tricky question, worried, because Cowboys fans should know by now that they just gonna get first rounded no matter what. It's just a bad showing for Dallas week 1. Bad day for Dallas, bad day for Dak, and it sucks that he has to be out with an injury. And maybe if they do make a trade and bring somebody in this week, maybe we'll run an emergency talk of the town. But as of right now, I don't have much more to say about Dallas. I hope y'all enjoy Monday Night Football tonight because this video will be out before the game. So enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to a brand new episode of Talk of the Town.
Love.
Check out the top link in the description for all Talk of the Town videos on a playlist. Every Monday afternoon, right before the game, we're going to have this video out for you recapping what we saw on Sunday. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We will see y'all next Monday.
Much love.